Hello today and a Happy New Year 2015. It's 2015 the year I want to talk about actually, because it to me it associates with one film, part of a trilogy, and I think you'll know what it is when I mention the hoverboard, the Nike Power Laces trainers, the flying cars, Cafe 80s, and what's coming out in this year? Jaws 19 in 3D. Yes. It's not happening, is it? It's just, I can't see no flying cars. Obviously the hoverboard, well, it might be possible. I don't see why that can't be possible. Power laces, I think that also can be possible. Well, Jaws 19 of course not, because they ain't even made 5. I think after 4 I don't think there want to be a 5 because it was crap. Well, it was only one classic, that was the first one. They ruined them after that. I don't know, the second one okay, might have been alright, but the third and fourth one was pretty shit. Anyway, I'm not talking about Jaws. That's not the film I want to talk about. Yeah, so we all know. Yes, I said Back to the Future Part 2. Great trilogy of films they were. Anyway, let's talk about Back to the Future 2 when they went into 2015, as we are now. I should know this, seeing the film so many times. I can't remember off my head what the exact date was. Was it November something? Oh, I can't bloody remember. I should know this, but film buffs out there that watch the film, you know, big fans of it, should know this, but I can't remember at the top of my head. I haven't seen it for a while, to be honest with you, but I should take a look at them again. But you know, it'd be a great trilogy of films. Yeah, so what they thought back when it was made, well, the original one was made in 85, but the second one was, I think it was 1989 that was made. But they did make the third one and released it in 1990. When they went back to 1885, so it always had that an even age gap. So they went back to, first of all, it was set in 1985, they went back to 1955, then they was back in 1985, and then they went forward to 2015, then they went back to 1985 in the third one. There was in 1985, I think. Well, no, I fucked up. Well, the second one, basically, he was flying the DeLorean, he got zapped back in time to 1885, and that was in 1955. That's right, it's fucking all coming back to me now. And in the third one, he was in 1955, went back to 1885, then they went forward to 1985. Fuck me, did I get that right? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not talking about fucking time travel or anything like that, but what I want to try and talk about is when that film came out in 1989. That's how they saw the future would be. Like 2015, flying cars, hoverboards. Back then it might have been possible, but now it's 2015. Where are the flying cars? I mean, they've attempted trying making a flying car, but obviously it's not successful. It's not practical, I suppose. Not practical enough to. I mean, I know it's been tried. I don't know about the hoverboard. I mean, could that even be possible? I think that could be possible. I mean, I don't know. It could be slim like that. It has to be some fucking thick thing to, you know, incorporate hovers, or something has to be fucking wide. I mean, it probably is possible to do, but it ain't going to be slim and sleek like it was in the film. But you know, you got to think of like a hovercraft sort of thing, and so to make a big bloody board. What else with the flight? No, I've covered that. Cafe 80s, when machines from the ceiling with screens come serving you. Yeah, could that be possible? I don't know. You know, they saw the future. The future was back in 1989. They saw the future how it would be in 2015. But what they didn't say, that no one's really using those CRT TVs anymore, because they was all like in the Cafe 80s. Everything's all like widescreen now, LCD plasma, LED TVs nowadays. So actually they got that right when we went into Marty McFly's future house. We had that big widescreen TV on the wall, so they got that right. With multi pictures inside, that is possible. That is actually possible. I mean, we've got smart TVs now, so you can actually talk to the TV, maybe. I don't own a smart TV. Can you actually, whoever's got a smart TV out there, can you actually talk to them and tell it what channel to select? It's possible. That is honestly 100% possible. I mean, you can talk to Google and say what you want and it comes up with it. Well, with me it don't work half the time because I'm probably sloshed off the fucking time. That one, yeah. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, that technology is possible. I think that's it. I mean, how they see the future. How do we see the future now? I mean, how would we see at least 30 years into the future? What would technology be? Because technology in the last 30 years has advanced so much. So I'm a big fan of technology. I like technology, the old technology to the new technology. Technology progresses, it has to. Yes, that's why I'm a fan of like old, new and advancing technology. I like technology. Yeah, it's great. But how would we see 30 years from now? What would the TVs be? What would be a TV 30 years from now? Would it just be a big massive like a glass panel? Would it be a glass panel? You know, in cinema scope, not widescreen. I know we got widescreen now, but in true cinema scope, or you know, which is massively long. Or would it be like Samsung's brought out the new TV which is curved? Will that be the future? Or IMAX cinema. I've never ever been to an IMAX cinema in my life, but I'd love to experience that. It's like a fucking dome, isn't it? It's like a dome sort of shape. Would it be like that in 30 years time? Or would it be like a beam? Would the image be beamed from like a rod or something like that? That would be interesting. And it projects it in whatever definition it is in 30 years time. I mean, 4K's out now, but what would it be in 30 years time? Unbelievable. And not only that, game consoles. What would we be playing on in 30 years time? Well, not me, of course. Oh, fuck me. I'll be 41 this year, so I'll be turning 71. 71. Unbelievable. Obviously I won't be playing games then. I'll probably be, who knows, I could still be alive. Who knows? Who knows? But 30 years time, be amazing to see what game systems we'll be playing on, or your kids or whatever, your grandkids, obviously your grandkids, whatever. What will be the game console in 30 years time? Will there be a game console in 30 years time? Because might not need a game console. Might have like a mobile phone at the time, or whatever we'll be communicating with, will do everything for you. This will be your game console, well, sort of gamepad, whatever. A mobile phone. What would be mobile phones in the 30 years from now? Will it just be a paint, like a little, like a flat piece of metal or a flat piece of glass, and you just look at it and it reads your mind what you want to do? That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Or would we need to hold something? Could it all be in your ear? Could it be if you wear these sort of glasses? I mean, Google's coming out with these Google glasses now, so you know, you put these glasses on and everything, you know, that would be your communication, your gaming, everything. Amazing. Oh, we won't have technology when your camera blurs up. wouldn't even need a PC, I don't think. Probably just a thing that does everything. A thing. Something that beams up, projects a 3D image in a quality you can't imagine. Probably be so fantastic, the future of TV, computing, gaming. Who knows? It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine, but the human brain can't process what could be available in 30 years' time. I mean, you say, well, we go back, just say we go back to the 1980s. Let's say 1980, and we see what came out then and what's out now. You imagine how much has changed in technology. It's a lot. It's fantastic. So, and technology gets quicker and quicker and advances quicker and quicker now. Just imagine how quick it's going to be 30 years time. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, I'm waffling on about this now anyway, but going back, just go back to the the late 70s. If you're like old like me and you remember like programs like Buckle Rogers and Battlestar Galactica back in the late 70s. Well, I remember them in the 80s watching the reruns, of course, but I was too young in the 70s to remember that. But the technology back then, how they saw 500 years into the future, say, or 300 years into the future. You saw these big computer banks with all these flashing lights, you know, light bulbs. There weren't obviously no LEDs back then. I mean, you say LED back in 1970s, I think is a drug. LEDs, you know, I don't know when that came. Might have been invented in the 70s, I don't know, but you didn't. All you saw was these blinking, big, flashing lights everywhere on their computer banks, and you just saw like like all the lights. You didn't really see a keyboard, just a computer screen, which was an old monochrome TV, or not a TV, a monitor, or a monochrome monitor, just to make it look futuristic by putting like a slant on it. Basically, looks like a Commodore PET. Because every time I see a Commodore PET, it just reminds me of a 70s sci-fi program. Just don't know what that is. That Commodore PET just reminds me of it. I don't know why. It's hard to put a finger on that, but it just, it really does. And you just, they, way they saw the future. Well, me. It's amazing. You know, go back and you think that. I think it's 300 years from there, we will be flying around in spaceships. I mean, that was achievable in the 60s, wasn't it? Well, they weren't not flying around in spaceships, but conquest of space. We got out of space. 60s, Americans landed on the moon. 69, I think that was I wanted round. So, was that a conspiracy? Well, people say that was a conspiracy, but I honestly was talking to my dad about this, and he said it was real. He said it was real. So, okay. As everyone gathered around in 1969, whenever it happened, gathered around their TV sets. Obviously, it's in black and white, but you know, fucking space is black and white anyway. Let's face it, grey, black and white. And I think that's where all this sci-fi, you know, there's so many sci-fi programs back then, weren't there? How they saw the future, how we'll be travelling around space, looking at new planets, investigating wars with some Martians, well, not Martians, intergalactic space bastards, I don't know. But you know, it was great imagination when they came. Star Trek was another one. That was 60s, I believe. But it was the imagination of Gene Roddenberry, whatever his name is. His imagination to seek new civilization. You know, who knows? It could be out there, but when can we investigate that? When are we going to have the technology to investigate that? I think that maybe the technology's there, but problem is one thing: cost. I don't think no one's can afford those to send a spaceship out in space and go around investigating new planets. It's just going to cost way too much. But it's just the great imagination that, you know, everyone comes at, like making these programs where it maybe one day it's possible that it could happen, but who knows? Be great. I mean, it definitely won't be in my lifetime, I can say that, because I mean, all we can do is send a spaceship to the moon, and that was before my time, and nothing's really advanced from that. We're sending probes to Mars, and that's it. It's not really, you know, I thought by now we're in the day and age where we should be, you know, sending crafts to moon, maybe setting up bases on the moon, or maybe achieved to go to Mars with all the technology we've got. But as I say, it's cost. I reckon the technology's there, it's cost. Definitely going to wait way too much money for any country to fund something like that. That's why America obviously ain't doing no more space. Really doing no more space missions anymore. I mean, I believe the space shuttle's been scrapped now. I know they've had a couple of disasters, but it's a shame because, you know, everyone. I just remember back in the 80s, everyone, I think all family just was glued to the TV when there was a space shuttle launch. So I don't know, it was just exciting, I suppose. Just a spaceship launching into space, you know, coming back, landing like a plane. You just, I don't know what it was. It was just something different. We had Concorde and you know, because it's too expensive. That got scrapped, which is a shame. You know, it was the world's fastest airliner. You know, that's a great achievement. That was a great achievement. Now, every country, I think the main, like Russia built one. It flew. Unfortunately, it crashed. They stopped it. Americans built one. It never really. Don't know what happened to their program on that. That didn't happen. So it was basically the Anglo, the British and the French. The Concorde come up. It was a success, but the thing is, it was too expensive to run, and it was very, very expensive to get tickets for. That's probably why it stopped. They scrapped it, which is a shame. That was a great piece of engineering for its time. I think that came out, well, that must have been 70s, I think. But it was an achievable piece of engineering. That was brilliant. An airliner can go supersonic, that sort of speed. You know, it's amazing. It's like the American Blackbird plane I'm talking about. I mean, today that is the world's fastest plane. You know, unfortunately they don't fly that no more because it's too expensive to fly. And once again, that was a brilliant piece of engineering. Excellent piece of engineering. You know, to achieve the fastest plane in the world, something that looks so sleek, looks so good. You know, that's why I like engineering. I love technology, engineering. You know, brilliance like that. Okay, people are probably getting bored with what I say, but you know, it's a fantastic piece of engineering. I don't care what anyone says. Anyway, there's some talking about. I was talking about the 90s, like the 70s, like the computer side and the technology, what they saw of the future. So back then they couldn't really think like what we have now, so they have to think, okay, we're making a sci-fi, so it's 300 years in the future. They couldn't even think 30 years really ahead what was going to happen with technology. But I think Star Trek got it right though, because they had the big massive screen on the Enterprise. So, and I think that was the way forward. You know, people may have had widescreen TVs in the future. As I say, I don't know what it's going to be like in 300 years time, but I was amazed when they made the new Star Trek films, not the Captain Kirk. Well, it is Captain Kirk, but I'm not talking about the original Captain Kirk. I'm talking about when they come out in 2009, the film with the, I can't remember his fucking name now, but you know, the latest Star Trek films with the inside the Enterprise, with all the touching the screen and the technology that I can see happening, because that looks fantastic the way they did that, and that I can actually see that happening maybe in about 10-15 years time. Okay, 20 at a max. Maybe that will be the sort of technology we might be experiencing in 30 years time. I can see that happening. I don't see why not. So say technology advances so quickly these days. It's brilliant. Considering, now we're going to go back even further here. I believe, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think back in the 1920s, this is the time, I believe, when aeroplanes come out, but you know, aeroplanes was about, it was the basically the roaring 20s. What that meant, I guess, was cars and planes and things are coming out. You know, and they thought by the year 2000 all cars will be flying. I suppose that is a big gap, 80 years gap to think, okay, by the year 2000 all cars will be flying, because they thought like technology would advance so quickly. Unfortunately it hasn't. All I remember of the year 2000, well, let's say 1999, when Prince made that. Well, Prince made that in the 80s, didn't he? That 1999, that tune, that fucking Prince tune, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm not talking about that. Anyway, the thing I'm talking about was, remember we was on the year 1999. It was December the 31st, 1999, and they all thought when the clock ticked to 2000, January the 1st, 2000, all computers would crash, aeroplanes would fall out of the sky, everything would just be a total meltdown basically. And everyone was saying things about that. Everyone was believing it. For fuck's sake, they was believing it. Did I believe it? No. I never believed that one fucking bit. You gotta be a fucking retard to even believe something like that. Don't you think these people that invent computers, build computers, would have thought of that? Oh, year 2000. Oh, all computers will crash. Planes will fall out of the sky. No, it wouldn't. I'm sure they would have covered this. And I don't know, even if it did reset itself back to what, 1900, what people would say. How the fuck is that going to make a plane fall out of the sky? How the fuck is that going to make a computer crash because it resets to 1900? A time is not important to a computer. It'll just carry on. Oh, it's going to crash. Oh, believe me. Oh no, we're all going to die. Shut the fuck up. You're an idiot to even think that was going to happen. A retard probably wouldn't even expect that. What's I saying? I don't know. Yeah, but I'm saying you've got to be a complete idiot to even believe that. And that's what I like about technology, though. I mean, it could also be about imagination. Imagination, how things could work, and you know, that's why I always adore technology, brilliance of it, because what it can do, what you can do with it, and imagining what technology will be in the future. It's hard to imagine. 30 years from now, I'm saying things could be a little bit like the new Star Trek. As I say, with the touch glass and all that, brilliant. I reckon that it could happen. That would definitely happen. Yeah. I was only supposed to be talking about Back to the Future 2 in the year 2015, because that's what I wanted to talk about, and I've just waffled on talking about everything about technology, future, past. So I basically covered the year 1920 to the year 2020, 2200, 2300. We even said 2005. I said 500 years into the future one time. So who knows? So I've covered a lot of years in a space of, I don't know, is it half hour? I don't even know how long I've been fucking waffling on about. Anyway, I want to hear your comments on this, because I think it's a good subject, about technology, about future. Will we ever see Jaws 19? I doubt it. After the third and fourth one, I don't want to see another fucking Jaws in my life. And I'm absolutely glad that they ain't even tried to remake them, because you know the first Jaws was a classic. It always will be. It's like anything. It's like if they try to make Back to the Future, would it be any good? They got the CGI nowadays, but you know you can't beat the original. You can't. You ain't even gonna come close to Back to the Future, any of them, because it was classic. Michael J. Fox. What's his name? Lloyd. Oh fucking hell! That's stupid. I can't forget this. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd. You can't. You ain't gonna have someone that can replace him. No chance. He was brilliant as the Doc. Michael J. Fox. He was brilliant at Marty McFly, and so was all the other characters. They were brilliant. What they did. You are not going to replace those characters. No chance. Because it was brilliant, brilliant films. And I'm sorry, they try and remake that, they can go fuck themselves. Anyway, I've said enough of this. I think I've waffled on too much today. Anyway, you take care. Have a great 2015 and any other year. And I'll talk to you later. And goodbye.